Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. So yesterday we finished this first dungeon. It is kind of tough, but also since this is mainly the only part of the playable, it's like the only non-exploratory part of the game. So it's like the only one with real enemies. I think it's okay with it being a little more challenging. We do have one room to finish, and it's not any puzzles or anything. It's just going to be where we need to add the mineral deposits, because in this game you'll harvest some materials down here in the dungeon, and then you can use them to upgrade your spellcast elements. So I'm just playing through this first level here, or this first dungeon here, just to kind of get some practice trying to do it, see how it goes for me. So yeah, it isn't the easiest, but also I've taken only 3 points of damage until this room. Oh shit, man. As I die. So yeah, it's not super easy. But also, if this part were able to be done on the first try for most people, then the demo would be over in like 3 minutes. So it's one of those things where it's like, if we add the mineral deposits and they can't beat this level, then they can, maybe they can farm some materials a bit, get the spellcast upgrade, which puts 2 spells around them, which makes it a lot easier to play and defeat the bats. But I'm going to try to do one more run through of it, see if I can do it, because I should be able to do it, no issue. So let's see, just focus a bit more. Okay, so I made it to the last level without getting damage, and we'll see how decent we can do here. This one isn't bad if you beat the normie bat out, and actually the move to do it is cleanse him away from the pushables. So right now the only one we have to worry about is normie bat here, and he's not bad. So I was just able to do it without taking any damage here on my second try. So it's not, I mean, it isn't. Oh my god, yeah, I forgot. If you go in this way, you get wrecked by these guys. Oh my god, yeah, these guys are scary. They just did 3 hearts worth of damage to me. These guys are to prevent people from running through this part without using the crates. So if you go in the opposite way, you're really screwed. But today we're going to be filling out this last room in the dungeon. So there's 6 rooms, and we're going to be working on this one today. So it's kind of empty, but that's because this room there's not going to be enemies in this room. There's going to be some pushable blocks probably, and then maybe a treasure chest with something, because I want to give the player a reason to come back. Well, okay, so I still have to think about when the minerals kind of refresh. So like most of the game here, I'm able to just go off screen and come back on screen through a scene transition like this to reset the enemies or to reset the pushables. So like if you have a bad start to a level, you can always just go out the way you came and come right back and retry it real fast without much penalty. So what I don't want to do is to have these minerals. So like there's going to be rubies in here that you have to farm to get element upgrades. I shouldn't really say farm, but you could farm them. Hey Loki, what's up? Good evening. And I have to think about what constitutes a refresh for the minerals here, so that they don't just come in here, get the ruby, like get ruby, come out here, go back, go ahead, get ruby, 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 go out, come back. So I'm kind of thinking it's like maybe, you know, either they refresh when you leave or enter the dungeon, but I guess, you know, if it's just when they leave the dungeon, they can come out here, push this, come out here, go back in, push this, and then farm it anyway. And it's just kind of like, you know, we're just extending the time for them to farm it. Like, I don't want them, you know, it's one thing. I want them to be able to get the materials to upgrade the element, not too difficult, right? Because if they, I want them to be able to, you know, it won't cost many materials, but I just don't want them to be able to farm it in like 2 minutes and just get all the stuff. So we have to think about how to kind of refresh the minerals. Either, I was kind of thinking like we can count a scene transition. Every time we scene transition, we just go into the mineral deposit variable or class and just increment how many scenes it's been. And if the scene is past 10 scenes, so like, I mean, but then again, if they know that, they can just sit here until they get 10 scenes and then it refreshes, right? So it's a little tough to figure out how to limit it. But I guess the first thing we'll do is just build it and make them pick upable, and then we'll worry about trying to limit the refresh rate in a way that makes sense. You know, we could keep track of delta time and do it after like a minute or so it refreshes. I don't know. Maybe the move is it takes a random amount of turns. So like let's say there's only one ruby in here, we got the ruby, and then let's say there's a random number between 5 and 15. And when we harvest it, it assigns a scene transition limit, or whatever you call it, a refresh screen limit, and it's just like a random number between 5 and 15 or something. And then anytime we scene transition, we increment that number. So it's not a guaranteed. I mean, they can still sit here and go like this until it refreshes. And I guess that's up to them if they want to do that. Yeah, I don't know. Part of me wants to make that not possible. But at least that way it won't be guaranteed like, oh, after 3 scene transitions it's like, well, it's a different number, you know, it's from anywhere from 10 to 15, because I want them to explore and come back here, and then they're refreshed. So if we could tie in the distance somewhere so they can't just do it right here. I don't know. I'm not like super worried about that. It's just I just don't want people to be able to come in here and get the upgrade just by going like this 10 times and then get the upgrade for free, you know? Because ideally, you know, we have a couple mineral deposits here, but we have some in some standalone dungeons elsewhere, so that they can, you know, so that they're rewarded for traveling to another dungeon to get some more elements, and then they can come back to this one and then get it. So it's like, maybe the move is like we refresh the dungeon minerals as long as you've entered a different dungeon. So anytime, you know, we can say either upon entering another warp zone, or if we enter a predefined dungeon, then they refresh something, because it's like this would trigger a warp zone, but entering this dungeon would count as the same dungeon. So maybe if we could tie it to that and say, if we do a warp zone to a dungeon other than this dungeon, we can reset those minerals. So maybe that's the move, because I just don't want them to, I want to reward them for exploring outside of this dungeon once they've harvested it for the elements. Because the idea is, you know, I just don't want them stuck in the same dungeon just farming, right? So I think the move is, I'm trying to think about how we implement the mineral deposits, right? And it's like, they need to be where we can walk over them once we've harvested. so that they're not an obstacle, but also they should probably not be walkable before they're harvested to show that like you can do something to them. So I think the move is you just have to harvest, you have to harvest the minerals with magic. So it's just like breaking a crate, except you break the minerals into the raw piece and then you can pick it up. But if we go and add it to our tiled map where we can just draw it onto the map, I don't think that's the right move, because we need it to have more complex behavior, right? Because the tiled map is just for the tile IDs on the floor. So if the mineral is going to change from either unharvested to harvested, then we don't really want to add that to the tiled, because the tile ID will change. So I'm kind of thinking we do it more like the crates and boulders, except they're not pushable. So we just tell it where to spawn on which scene and what mineral type is it, so it knows what to render, and then it'll be a class object that we say, here's a mineral, a ruby deposit, and then once magic interacts with it, it'll crack open and it'll change what it's rendering to be an empty deposit with a mineral in front of it. We add some little collision detection, like a coin, like picking up a coin, and then we can just increment the inventory for our ruby minerals, which we don't have a spot for. We don't have a spot for here. I'm thinking we might get rid of, we might do heart containers a little differently. So like, instead of doing the pieces of heart container, I think maybe we can give heart containers out for certain either side missions, or every boss will give you a heart container boosting your full max heart. And we can put our minerals key items here kind of like our coin numbers. So we can say, there's like a 99 limit on all the minerals. It's only going to take like maybe 20 minerals to upgrade your element, but each element can be upgraded, like 3 times. So maybe there's a tier system, I don't know. But I think we can put them here in this spot. So we can say that we can draw a little ruby thing, and it can be like 1 of 99, or just there's 2 digits, and we just increment our tally. So we can have just zeros here for all the elements, because the idea is I want, like, in order for us to unlock new elements, you have to gather the appropriate mineral and take it to the refinery. So there won't be any other mineral than ruby here at the beginning in the demo, but there will be ruby so that you can see how to at least upgrade your spell element. But in the future, we would probably change this first demo to have a couple of different elements, so that when you go do your dungeon rounds to get some elements, you can get some ruby, some sapphire, some emerald, or whatever it is, some topaz or whatever it is, so that as you do the dungeons, and then maybe certain dungeons have more ruby, certain dungeons have more emerald, so that it kind of, like someone's like, ooh, I want to see what the green spell is, so let me go to the one spot I know where green elements are and try to get those, or something like that. So we'll have to figure out that balance as we get further, but for now we're just doing ruby. So let's see how we can implement that. I think we're going to need it as a class, and then we need to come up with some art for it. So I guess let's just get to it. So I think I'm going to start with the ground background, and then we can just layer it up, so that, because it's like it's going to be on the dungeon ground, so we might as well see what this looks like. Okay, so I think it should be like a little emerald, a little ruby. So like the corresponding element is going to match to the color of the spellcast you are trying to get. So let's just try to draw a little ruby here. You know, it's not going to be anything too special, just like little... I don't know, I want it to be... I want it to look like a little stone, right? So we might make like more gray colored rocks it's coming out of or something, so it looks a little bit more... It doesn't look... It looks like kind of goop right now. I want it to look more like stone. Yeah, something a little more sharp edges like that, you know. And then we can kind of just desaturate or darken the reds here once they've been harvested. And then maybe the move is we figure out what the 8x8 tile icon in our inventory looks like first. And then we can kind of maybe use that as the main shape for this big piece here. But yeah, something like that. It'll look like... Yeah, it looks like a gloop still. It should look like a little rock. So yeah, maybe the move is we design a 8x8 icon for the inventory for it, and then we can kind of model how it looks off the icon here. You know, I want it to look different than the elements, right? Like it should be apparent that it is not the spellcasting element. I don't know, man. It's tough. Pixel art is so tough. Looks so weird. Yeah, I'm not liking any of these iterations, you know? Oh. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with this. Like, maybe we can mess with the highlight, but this can be, you know, this is kind of looking. I don't know, looks strange, but it does. Let's see how it looks at like smaller resolution, because it should be readable smaller, you know. It looks different than the spell. Yeah, I can't tell if I like the color, but that'll be easy to change. So I guess for now this is what we're gonna go with. What up, Squinch? Yo, your Jimmy badge is the same color as the ruby here. Yeah, a little bit of an early stream. I got off work a little early and I just figured, why not? So this is the picture that's gonna go, this is gonna be like in the inventory when we get a ruby element or a mineral. So the ball of magic that determines what spell you're using is gonna be called the element, but then this is gonna be called the mineral and it's used for upgrading the elements. So in graphics here, I think we'll just call it ruby mineral. And then this is what we're going to use. So the little element that counts it in your inventory system is also how it looks like on the ground when you run into it, like in a dungeon. I don't know, it kind of looks like little hearts to me, at least some of this does. You know, Soup, I've played Minecraft only once. It was fun. But yeah, I haven't played much of it. I think I'd like something like that. So, you know, it'll be pretty apparent that it's there. And I think it'll be collidable before it's harvested, and then non-collidable once it's done from being harvested. So let's see what the unharvested look might look like. It'll probably just be this emptier color. So maybe what we can do is just darken these spots, but then maybe have even darker. What just happened here? Okay, I think I edited the wrong layer. Let's do this. Oh, okay then. So when you harvest it, it goes a little darker like this. And then it leaves... It's going to leave like a little dent. So maybe this color needs to be a little darker. And then here's the harvested color, maybe. Like, I don't want it to look like there's something there. I want it to look like it's gone. So, like a little, maybe a little less color on that thing. I feel like I got the shadows backwards. I think the deepest shadow should be where the brightest parts were. Yeah, so maybe... Let's do... I don't know, I feel like it should be darker than that. I feel like it should be close to pitch black here. I haven't decided if I'm going to really limit the color palette or not yet. You know, because it's like the Game Boy really had the limited color palette. And I've just been kind of doing whatever colors I feel like. Because I cannot figure out the palette system on this app, Sprite. I don't know, this looks like crap. Because at least when the purple's the background here, at least the dark purple kind of stays and only the ruby kind of exits. So maybe we just make this a gradient towards the old one, towards the old color here. So it needs to be darker than this, but lighter than the dark part. So something like this. Okay. So we'll see what it looks like, you know, shrunk down. It's in game. It's about that size. It's like there it is before you harvest it. After, I don't know, it should look, I don't know, I want it to look more like a pit than just like a, yeah, I think we should change the shape a bit. I think it should look more like a pit. It looks so messy. I think this is okay. I mean, you know, nothing is final for the pixel art here, but at least this gets the point across. Like it's either there or it's not. It was like very apparent that it's kind of glistening. Okay, so we have a ruby. We have a ruby mineral unmined and a ruby mineral mined that we need to export. And that's what we're going to put into our mineral class. Because we're going to insert the minerals into the scene, not through the tiled app, but through just manual kind of instantiation. Because it has more unique properties than just something you can draw, because it needs to be interactable at one point and then non-interactable and change color or change sprite atlas. So like I think we'll just do it as its own class and kind of put it into the scene as we can with crates and stuff. So let's export ruby mineral unmined. And ruby mineral mined. Okay. So we need to pull these into a new class we need to create and make it kind of insertable wherever we want. So it'll also count whatever details we need, keep track of whatever details we need for the respawn, so that they can't just keep mining it by leaving and coming back. So let's give us this class here. We'll call it Mineral Lua. So mineral gets a class object. We're going to have an init, and it's going to take in a row and column to spawn at, and then as well as a type. So like, is it a ruby, is it a sapphire, sort of deal. We need an update because we need a render collision for a mined or unmined. And then we will need probably another thing. Well, we'll see, because the once you mine it, right? Once you use your magic to mine it, the picture we just changed will change. You know, it'll go from ruby unmined to ruby mined, but then we need to insert like another ruby piece, and the ruby piece is what you need to walk to collect the actual mined mineral. So we might need, you know, I don't know if we add that to this, or we have a mined mineral also that we can spawn. I don't know, but let's just take it one step at a time here. So we know we need an X position, a Y position. A width, a height, you know, all the collidable variables we need. And then also, you know, we have an image, which thing is currently active, and then we have a type, which mineral is it, and then we need like a mined or not. So this will be calculated based on the row and column. Width and height is locked in at tile size. Type is going to get the type parameter here. Image is based on the type, so like for right now we only have ruby, so we're just going to say if type ruby, then we know our image is going to be our unmined ruby. So I don't know if we should have, I don't know if we should add this to our global drawables, or yeah, we probably should, because we don't want to import this per object, we just want to assign it via the global drawable. So I think that's right. So we're importing a bunch of images here, and we're just going to add ruby to this. So it's unmined ruby actually. So let's say unmined ruby. Graphics unmined ruby, and then we need mined ruby. And then those should be imported as drawables, so we have mined and unmined. What did I just do? Mined ruby, unmined ruby. This should be camel case. Okay. So we're saying when we spawn this, it'll be type Ruby. If it's we can we just are going to require the type, and then mind is going to be false, right? So when we go to render it, we need to accept two parameters: adjacent offset X and adjacent offset Y. This is so that when we scroll on screen, we can render it at the scroll position instead of rendering it at its actual X location. So how we do that is like, I'll see if I can get this right. We say basically we're going to update our own position to be modified by this adjacent offset X and adjacent offset Y. I think we have to do current position plus this offset, and then we're gonna render. So it's love.graphics.draw. We're gonna draw our own drawable, which is dependent on the image, and then an X and Y, which is our updated offset X, just in case we are scrolling, and then we undo this movement. It's something like this where we do this. So we subtract the adjacent offset so that we don't keep updating it and changing it. We're basically saying like, yeah, we're going to shift it, draw it, unshift it so that next time we shift it, it's at the right location. So let's just see if we can get a mineral on screen. Actually, I'm going to first test in our entity. I want to see how we're doing the adjacent offset. So we take in this, we say XY gets, we default it to 0. So we need to, we need to just say adjacent offset or 0. Okay. And then thanks, Soup. Yeah, let's do this. Actually, we can do this like this. We can say adjacent . Oh, you're good, you're good. Yeah, I'm starting to feel, I mean, I know, we've got 2 weeks till the demo's supposed to be done, so there's so much stuff we still have to do, so much stuff. So I'm like, at least we're done with the dungeon, basically. This is the last thing we're trying to get done with the dungeon. I'm mainly worried about, after this, I'm just worried about the loot minigame. So like, because I'm wanting to rehaul the strings and the frets. So yeah, I'm wanting, maybe I hold off on rehauling the frets for the demo and we just do a simple little song, because it works right now. It's just that I'm trying to think of how, we have 4 strings and 2 frets currently, and that means there's a total of 12 different notes we can play, which is like a whole octave, right? Or a whole major scale. So I was thinking that we could do one more. Since it's like a Game Boy game, there's an A and B button. I'm thinking if we hold the A and B button, that can be a third fret as a sort of like bar chord, but like how the game works is like the frets will adjust it by one semitone, right? So the my only hesitancy for that is that on the phone or on the mobile deployment, I don't know if people's thumbs can fat finger a double button push. Because that would be limiting for the mini game on there. So maybe for now I don't rehaul the lute and I just try to get a decent sounding simple song out with our 12 notes, and then I can worry about changing the lute if I want with that third fret. Or if we can't pull off the third fret, doesn't make sense for mobile, then maybe I just tweak the strings a bit, because one of the issues is that if you just play the strings, they sound pretty good because I space them out in a, like, I don't know if it's major thirds or perfect fifth, how I did the spacing. So there is some note overlap. So like if you play string 1 on fret 2, it's the same thing as string 2, no fret, which takes away some of the notes that we have options to play. So there's like a crazy balance of trying to get unique notes and a good difference of notes so that we can play unique melodies and stuff, but also do the strings sound good? If people don't know what they're playing and they just play random strings and stuff, I still want it to sound decent. So that's why the lute is the way it is now with overlapping strings, because the strings are organized in such a way that they sound good played together, because the diagonals are playing multiple strings at once if you're on phone, and then you can play multiple strings at once if you just hit two keys at the same time on desktop. So yeah, I don't know, we'll figure it out. So we render a mineral right at its own location. We would do something here like, well, if we are mined false, if we are no longer mined, or actually if we are mined, then we need to update our image. And we probably wouldn't do this here in the class, but just to kind of like, yeah, we'd probably do this once we mine it. We would go into the mineral and change it to a type version that we concatenate or whatever to pull the right image. So for right now, we'll just do this and say, okay, well, now we're mined. We need to add collision for these mineral objects, and then turn off the collision once they've been mined. And then we need to spawn a little mineral for you to collect with its own little collision. Yeah, oh my god, it's a lot. It's a lot. We've got 2 weeks. Shoot, man. Okay. Let's just see if we can get a mineral on screen here. We're just going to assign 0, 0 for right now. We need to go into our dependencies and say we need to require this mineral class, so we have access to it. Then we need basically a declaration for it, right? So let's just try to add one at whatever scene we're at. Unmined Ruby in graphics does not exist. Did we not export it? Ruby mineral unmined. Ruby mineral mined. Ruby mineral unmined. And ruby mineral mined. Okay. So we're going to look at what scene we're in here. Let's spawn us in 411 and we'll try to put a ruby mineral here for testing. So we'll go here to 411. And then we need to go to our declarations. We need to do a couple of things here. So we're going to say, as a test here, we're just going to say, well, this 411 in the minerals table, which we don't have just yet, but we'll say that we want to table.insert into our minerals table on this scene. We're going to insert a mineral instantiation, and it's going to have an X and a Y, or a row and a height or whatever. So let's just say 1 1. It should be top left because we kind of defaulted it there, but also a type of ruby. And then if we table.insert it into the minerals table, then we just need to update all the minerals in the current scene, render all the minerals in the current scene, and they should have the appropriate logic. But we need to say, I think it's here in the map declarations where we give global tables. So we're going to say every scene has its own minerals table, right? So we give it an empty minerals table. So now we do have that minerals table. That's what we're inserting a mineral instantiation into. And then when we go, we don't need to update. We don't have any update logic just yet, but we need to find where we render. I think it's in the map where we render things like chasms or crates or whatever. So we render collidable map objects here. So we do want to do something like this where we say, why do we do this, man? This is like some weird Lua stuff that it's like, if we don't insert anything into the minerals table, it still wants to render an empty mineral, and then it just says we can't render a nil object and it crashes. So we're saying, this is why, there's got to be a better way to do this, because it's like, what we're doing is we're saying, like, go into the current map and go into the minerals table. And if the thing that is in the first space of the mineral is nil, like if it's an empty table, or if it's not an empty table, right? Soup's favorite, not equals. If it's not empty in there, then we're gonna cycle through all the minerals and render each one. If we don't ask this, we crash. So I don't know if there's a better way of doing that, but we inserted a mineral, and then we should be rendering the mineral in the scene. So since we put it in the 411, we should see the mineral here if we did the other steps right. Okay, we do have a little mineral. It's in the wrong spot. So let's try to get the X and Y hashed out. So in our mineral, we're going to say the row column. We basically derive the X position based off the row and column. So if it's a row 1, we give it at a 0. So we're going to say row times our tile size minus a tile size. That's our X position. And then column, same thing. Times tile size minus tile size. So now if we were to say, let's give us a mineral at, do we have it row column? We should have it column row to be an X and Y. So we should change the order of these. So let's do that. Okay. Yeah, let's do column for the X first, then row for the Y. So we can say here we want you know, let's say we want it 4 tiles to the right, 4 tiles down, and then we should have a ruby at 4, 4. Cool. So now there's a ruby on the floor. It doesn't have any, you know, it doesn't have anything other than it renders under our player and under the entity, which is good, right? So at least we keep that continuity. And you know what? I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like I don't want them to be collidable. Because if they're collidable, I mean, if they are collidable, we should make it smaller. It shouldn't be the whole tile size that they're collidable. Like, it should be like the mineral itself, like the big hunk of it is collidable if we add that. I'm trying to think if it bugs me that it's not collidable. I don't know. I kind of like it being on the floor. I don't know. It is kind of weird to just walk on top of it. So maybe we will add collision. Oh my, what? How did he do that much knockback to me? I think he like hit me and shot me at the same time, which like gave me crazy knockback. Yeah, I think we should have collision, but it should be very tiny. I think it should just be mainly where that object is. Like the big hunk of it is. So let's try to add that, which means we need to update our Ruby, which we don't have any update logic in there. So we either define, you know, we don't, since the mineral doesn't update other than if it's mined or not, or if it needs to eject a mineral piece once it's been mined, I think we can say that we should just check for mineral collisions in our map. So we don't add it as a method to the mineral to update, but we add it to our player to check against any minerals. And then we can define, well, since it needs to be collision specific to a mineral, we might do it here. I don't like that idea. I think I want all the player collision to be kind of in the same spot. So we probably need like a mineral collides function that we need to build, which is whatever. Okay. So let's see where we do like player to collisions or player to, what is it? Player to collidable map objects. So, because it'd be similar to this, right? So when we do player to map object collision, check collision. Oh shoot. One thing I'm thinking of too is like we spent a couple days, shoot man. We spent a couple days doing this step collision. This collision in our scene, this is like, oh my gosh, this is a step collision so that if we're running on the web deployment at a slower frame rate, that we still get collision detection, because when you're running at a slower rate, your player moves bigger distances over the same period of time, right? So like he moves a bigger distance per delta time, even though he's moving at the same speed across time, he's moving a bigger distance, and that makes us lose small collisions around 5-ish pixels wide, and that's about how wide this is going to be. So I don't think it's a big deal. Like I think if the collision detection on a mineral screws up on the web deployment, then that's not a huge deal, especially because it won't screw up on the mobile deployment. Once we're done with that, it'll just be only the one that's on the website. Thanks, Pocket. Yeah, thanks. It's been crazy. It's been a whole year. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's been nuts. Yeah, working on some mineral collision here. We just made a ruby deposit. So like in the mines, you can come in here and harvest some elements to upgrade your elements. So you harvest minerals to upgrade your elements, but I think we want some collision on it. It doesn't bug me that you can walk over it, but the fact that it's kind of got like a little specular highlight there kind of infers that it's 3D, and I feel like we probably should have some collision on it. But it doesn't bug me that there's no collision on it, because there won't be collision on it once it's harvested, and maybe that's just, you know, if people don't realize that you can harvest it with your spellcast, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Part of me thinks it doesn't need collision. I can't tell if I'm being lazy or if I'm just okay with that. Or, you know, it's like, yeah, I think we should add it. I think we should add it just a little bit so you can't walk fully over it. It's just anything that helps you see that it's like really there. Yeah, there is a different sprite for it being harvested, and then once it's harvested, you can walk over it. Like, I don't want it being an object or a obstacle once it's harvested. Okay. We do have... Yeah, so Pocket, like, yeah, I think it'll probably be, yeah, around like 5x5 or something like that. Which means it'll break on the mobile deployment, but I'm not optimizing for the mobile deployment. You know, if you just walk over minerals on the mobile deployment, I think that's fine. It's because on mobile it doesn't run at 60 FPS, or on the web deployment it doesn't run at 60 FPS, which screws up any collisions less than 4 or 5 pixels wide. But that's okay. I'm not going to do step collision for minerals, at least right now. So, wow, we do have... So, like, we have this player collides with map object, so we can just feed it a very specific object, right? Like, we can have the width and the height of our mineral to be this 5x5, and then just pass it in, because we already have these functions we're doing. So it would be something very similar to how we're doing it here. Just we have to cycle through our... How do we do this? Oh my gosh, this is... Yeah, this is our step collision for collidable map objects, so I guess it makes sense to just do it outside of these. Yeah, outside of this. Let's do it here. So this is our player to mineral collision. So let's say we cycle through our current map's mineral table. We snag the object that is stored in there, which should have an XY width and height. As long as our player's not falling, we're going to check collision on there, set our player's collision to be the appropriate side. We don't need these checks anymore. And then basically, I think let's see if we get collision on the mineral there. Uh-oh. Bad argument 1 in scene 308. It doesn't like our current map's minerals. Our minerals are not in our current map object. They're actually in the scene view current map row. Current map column. global minerals table. So let's see if we get collision now. Okay, cool. We've got chunky collision on it, right? We've got the 16 by 16 collision, which I think is just too much. So we need to shift our X position by like 6 pixels, shrink our width by 6 pixels. So we'll just change the values here. Now we do render our position based on our X. So we can't just change our X position for the collidable. So I think what we need to do is change this to be like just our render X. So it's not our mineral per se, it's just, let's change our render X and our render Y, so that we can use the real X and Y for the collision detection. Okay, so now we're doing it in render X and render Y, and we'll give it a shrunken width, height, and X. So let's say we want our X to be 6 pixels over. So our collision will start, let's do 7 pixels in. And that means our width needs to be 7 pixels shorter. And then height, let's go like 3 pixels down, which means our height needs to be 3 pixels shrunk, or it can be even more than that because it's tiny. Let's try 8 and let's see. Yeah. Oh, I like a little twinkle. Oh, see, we're not doing it. What did we screw up? Oh, 7. Yeah, we need to basically do the render X plus this 7. 7 pixels over from where we're rendering it. And 3 pixels lower. Yeah, I do like a little twinkle. Wow, that looks really good actually. I kind of nailed it on that. The width can be 1 smaller, and maybe the height is a little smaller. Let's try this. Yeah, it looks spot on now. I can't believe how I nailed that. Okay, cool. So like it's mostly non-collidable except that big hunk. That big hunk right there. Okay, so now we need spellcast to mineral collision. And that's where we need to use the update of the mineral to change the picture that we're rendering to be a different picture. And then we can worry about trying to put it in our inventory and spawning a little mineral, a little ruby item that is pick-upable. Uh-oh. Dude. Okay. So I guess the next move is to just do spellcast collision against all minerals, and if the spellcast, you know, if it's a successful cast and we're colliding with a mineral that's not mined, then we're gonna flip its image to this global instead of doing it in the update, because it's like we only need to change the image the instant it turns mined. We don't need to be checking every single frame for that because we're already checking every single frame for the collision. As soon as we detect that collision and it is unmined, then we need to flip that image. So let's let's go find our spellcast collisions here. And I think it's in our map here. Maybe not. We have collision in our entity for our spellcasts. Does that mean, how are we doing it for our crates and stuff? Maybe that's in the pushable class. I don't know. Do we have a spellcast here? Huh. We should be doing... adding items that reduce chance of enemies spawning. You know, I'm open to that idea. It's just that not yet for the demo, right? Like we got 2 weeks till we're finishing this, so that's something I'll think about. I'll type it down as an idea here. Where do I've got ideas here? Because the idea here is that once you explore dungeons and get these minerals, you'll upgrade your spells, so it'll be easier anyway. So you won't have to deal, like the game will get easier as you upgrade your elements. So the idea is, like, if it's tough, then maybe you farm some minerals in the dungeons to upgrade your spellcast, so that you can go and wreck them. So that's a good idea. We'll think about other items like that, because I do, other dungeons are going to be different than this one. This one's based on the pushable green tunic that you unlock, but the other dungeons are going to be more spell based. So like different spells are going to be stronger in certain dungeons, and if you don't have the element yet for a certain dungeon, we might do something you're saying and get some sort of buff that you can. I guess it wouldn't be a buff, it would just be like a slightly easier for less enemy spawns. So I think we want the spellcast collision in the map. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I do want the whole game to be a kind of like rock, paper, scissors of like, oh, I need this element, or I need this spell, I need this spell, I need this tunic, I need that tunic, kind of like strengths and weaknesses for different stuff. Okay, so here, this is our spellcast particles. I'm looking for, here, this is where we're doing the spellcast collision with objects. So successful cast is the range where your focus indicator's in that green zone. So we need to cycle through our minerals, and if it's a successful cast and spellcast collides with the mineral, then if that mineral is unmined, we need to change it to be mined, and then we need to spawn a little ruby thing. So it's something like this. Let's try this. We're going to cycle through our minerals. So the current row minerals. We only care if we're successfully casting. Then if we successfully cast, and so this is part of the upgrade, right? So like we have this thing called spellcast entities. Right now you have one, but if we were to change the amount of spellcast entities, right here, spellcast entity count. If we had something like 3, then when we are casting our spell, we've got 3 of these spellcast entities around us. So this is like what you end up upgrading your element into, which is easier to break crates, easier to defend yourself. This is the max upgrade is 3, I'm pretty sure. Because it kind of just makes you invincible if you're casting spells. So, but basically we need to check collision on all of these spellcast entities, because any of these spellcast entities could trigger a ruby mine. So that's why we have to also cycle through our spellcast entities. So we're going to cycle through our spellcast entity. It's in our scene view here. Spellcast entity count. And then, so cycle through our minerals. If we are successfully casting, then let's cycle through all of our entities and check for collision with a mineral. So we're going to check if the mineral itself, we're going to say if the mineral itself, and we could say for K mineral impairs mineral, and if the mineral spell collides, because the different spells have different hitboxes, so like we have to define this based on the current active spell, but we only have 1 right now, so that's a future me problem. So we're going to cycle through each of the spellcast entities, and if we spell collide with any mineral, then we're going to check if that mineral is mined. And if it is not mined, then we need to not only change its image, we're going to say the mineral.image is now going to be ruby mined mineral. Is that right? And we also need to spawn ruby piece or whatever, which we don't have the ability just yet. But we're going to put it here. Let's just see if we change the image if we collide with a spellcast now. No, enemies won't. Oh god, spell collides, spellcast collides. Enemies won't drop minerals. Minerals are just little things here in the dungeon, and there'll be different minerals. Oh my god, spellcast collides. Is that not the... It's just spell collides. Spell collides on a nil value. Spell collides is a method that right now we only have on... Oh, it looks like spell collides is part of the entity count. No, it's the pushable. So does our pushable have spell collides? It does. Okay. See, and this is part that gets tough too. Is like, see, where we have this spell collides, we probably need... Yes, that's a good idea, Squinch. We'll do that. We'll do that. Basically, we need to make, depending on the other spells, like for example, the light spell you're gonna get just blasts a beam of light in front of you. So it's a super long blast of light. It's not a little rectangle like the flame is. So we kind of need like a special collision. So like we need to like get the string of the spell that's active, and then you only do collision, the type of collision for the active spell. So we don't have that yet, but at least for right now, we'll just say that we just have a spell collides because we only have the one spell for now, but we'll have to add specific spell collisions for other things. And then we'll probably, we probably want that to be like a global function so we can use it for crates or for pushables or for minerals, anything like that. So we don't have to copy and paste the method like that. But let's get back to, let's do Squinge's idea here. As we cycle through our minerals, we only check collision. You know, I guess what we can do, before we do this, we can say if the mineral is mined already, then we just want to break. Else, if it's not mined, then if we collide, then we set the image. So then we can save ourselves some collision, like Squinge is saying. Because if it's mined, we don't need a check collision. It is local. It's a local method on our pushable class right now, but it should be global. It should be because we want to use it in other things, but I'm just not doing that right now because I'm lazy. And we're going to rehaul it anyway when we get other spells. So we cannot draw a mineral 30 for some reason. I must have spelled. We cannot draw a self.image. Now, the self.image is an unmined ruby mineral, right? Did we change that? Nope. Okay, let's check the names of it. Unmined. Unmined ruby or mined ruby. Okay, unmined ruby or mined ruby. So this is mined ruby. And, you know, if we have other spells, we have to see which mineral it is to see what we change it to, but mineral 30 doesn't like this. We do give our mineral type ruby, so let's get rid of this. I don't think that'll change it though. Actually, it does. Okay, so let's see. Spellcast collides. Oh, look at that. It worked. Now, if it's mined, we don't need collision. So our spellcast changed it. We just need to take off collision if it's mined. So let's leave us a little note here saying that this is ruby, or let's just say mineral collision. This is actually spellcast collision, mineral spellcast collision. And then when we do our mineral collision, we only want to do collision if the mineral is not mined. So and we can do if V mined already, just break. We don't want collision detection. Otherwise, let's snag all this and do collision. Why do I do this if not V falling? That should be the player. Oh no, this is okay. That's for pushables, which minerals can't be falling. So let's just not do that. So we save the mineral as the object. We run collision on the object. We could call it mineral. but whatever. We're saying, yeah, if the mineral's mined, don't do anything. Otherwise, check collision. So now we should have it. So we've got collision here on the mineral. If we spellcast into it and actually hit it. Oh man, there we go. Okay, so maybe the fire collision buffer, because it's like the fire spell doesn't have collision on a 16 by 16. It's only like where the heart of the fire is. So like you have to touch it with like the heart of the fire instead of like the outside of the fire in order for it to register that, which I guess is fair. Like we won't put, like, the idea is like, oh, we still do collision though. We still are doing collision here. So we need to become not mined if we collide. Instead of just changing this, we need to say, oh my goodness, here. We need to say mineral is mined. So let's see. We've got collision and then no collision. Let's test that again. So our little mineral, we've got collision on it. And then if we spellcast, no collision. Cool. And then right now it doesn't get reset, which we need to figure out how to reset it so that the player can't just abuse it. But that's how it kind of should be. You know, it looks like just like emptiness. It looks like charcoal on the floor or something. Guano is what it is. Let's figure out how to spawn a little ruby object that maybe bounces or something on the floor. Once you mine, it can just kind of plop on the floor, and then yeah, bounces is a bit much. That's a bit ambitious. I kind of like Pocket's idea of this little like glare, like a little shimmer. So maybe once it becomes mined, it does a little shimmer, and then it turns into a little ruby that you can pick up. So maybe we can do, I'm trying to think if we need a whole new class to spawn a little ruby, or if what we can do is if we detect a collision and it's not mined, we become mined. Well, I'm trying to think, because we could still, nah, I think we do make a separate object, because it should be apparent that the ruby like comes out of the mineral deposit, and then when you collide with that, that's when it updates your inventory of how many rubies you've actually got. So I do think we need another class. Trying to think of how I want it to look. Like, is it gonna be, I was thinking it can just like, maybe it like it can like maybe pop and make a little sparkle or something. Yeah, I probably should make a little sound too, if I'm being honest. I guess for right now, let's just try to spawn a little ruby, or we're gonna change the mineral class we made to mineral deposit, and then we'll add a new mineral class that's the extracted mineral that checks for collision and then updates your inventory and stuff. And then for right now, we'll just say that the mineral starts at whatever location we mine it from, and then it sinks to the bottom of the tile that it's sitting in, and then it renders collision, updates collision for it. Yeah, we're making good progress. Like, it's nice. It's nice that we got most of it working. I'm just feeling that resistance, you know. I'm going to take a little break and get myself a water refill, and then I'll be right back. So Pocket, this isn't the soundtrack to the game. It's just soundtrack for the stream, and it's coded by me here. So if it sounds familiar, it's probably, you know, if it's not other Sonic Pi music, it's probably just because you've been listening to it. And I don't change it very often because I'm coding more than I'm programming music. Okay. Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, because I do want to code more music on stream. I'm just in the crunch for the demo, so you know, probably moving forward, I'll be doing more of that stuff. But right now, crunch time. So we got to finish this mineral deposit, mineral class, and then we can finish our dungeon. So let's make our required mineral object actually also be this mineral deposit. And that's what's going to be our mineral here. We're going to say this is now a mineral deposit. And then when we go in our map declarations to make a mineral deposit, we do a mineral deposit. But we also need a mineral to be collected. So that's what we're going to make right now. And we're going to make a mineral class. And the new mineral class. Ooh, what did I just do? Oh, we need to rename. We need to rename the Yeah, we need to rename the mineral we did make. What? How do you rename? Capital R. Mineral. This is mineral deposit. I could do mineral harvested for the other one, but also just mineral is easier to type. So least resistance, you know? So we'll say just the mineral gets this class. Okay, so we're requiring this mineral. We did make a standalone ruby mineral for us to use as the inventory picture, but also this ruby mineral standalone, not like mined is it. Yeah. Unmined is just weird. It's like when people call iced tea unsweet tea. It's just tea. Like the ruby is defined by its mined status when it should just be ruby. Ruby mineral is what we need as the global drawable here. ruby mineral PNG is our ruby image. So if we go to our mineral, we can have an X, a Y. We don't need, yeah, we do need width and height actually for collision detection. And then we need, I guess, a trigger for it to be collected or something, so that we can, or we'll probably just remove it from the table once we collide with it, and then we don't need a detected field or anything. So let's see what the width and height of a mineral is. I think it's like 8 by 8. So that's going to be the width and height. Let's just say 8, man. Why are we doing some math? Okay, we'll require an X and Y in the init. Well, actually not in the init. Well, yes. Yes, in the init. Because it doesn't exist until we make it once we mine a mineral. So we will have to make it. So it's okay to do it in the init here. And then let's just, for right now, say that the Y is just gonna get, let's just say that we say 10 times delta time to give it a downwards velocity, just as a starting point to see it, and make sure we're updating it correctly. And we'll say draw. We can assign the image here. Actually, we don't even need to assign it. We can just draw the ruby. Well, yeah, we should. Yeah, we should require the type here. And then we can say if it's a ruby, then we're going to set our image field to be equal to ruby. And then we're going to render a ruby at its own location. Okay, so one thing we need to do before we forget is in our map declarations here, make sure that we do, oh, we did do mineral deposit. Okay, so now, yeah, when we, we are requiring our mineral class that we just made already, so that's good. When we go to do the mineral collision, is it? Mineral, it's not the player to mineral, it's actually mineral to spellcast. Uh-oh. Mineral spellcast, mineral. Okay. So, if we become mined, what we need to do is actually insert this mineral into a table where we can track all the minerals for the current scene. We probably, yeah, we actually need to require in the render the adjacent offset. So I think we need to change this minerals table to mineral deposits. And we'll search for any .minerals table and make sure we're always going through the mineral deposits, because our minerals will be the extracted minerals. So So mineral deposits table and minerals table, and we'll say we cycle through our deposits, successful cast, we mine the mineral. If our spell collides with the mineral, we become mined, change our image, but we also need to go into our minerals, I think it's with an S, table. We need to add this new mineral. So we need to say that we're going to insert this new object into the global minerals table, and what we're inserting is a mineral class, and the X is going to be the same X. We need to do the right offsets, but let's just say that we take the mineral deposits X. That'll be a little off, but we can adjust it. Make sure we pass in the ruby or the image, and then table.insert the mineral into the minerals table. Okay, so we need to do a couple of things. We need to update minerals in the minerals table. We need to render the minerals in the minerals table. We need to add the adjacent offset to the mineral class. And then we need to actually flush our minerals table upon a finish shifting transition. I forgot everything I just said, but we still got to do it. I'll start by adding the adjacent offset. Cool. So we have the adjacent offset, so it should render based on the scene. So if we walk off while the ruby's on the screen, it'll scroll off with the screen. So that's pretty important. But nothing is going to render right now because we are not updating or rendering any of our minerals. So in our map update, we need to also, are we doing minerals in here? Yeah, let's do, we want to cycle through our minerals and update them. So if there are no minerals, which there's mainly going to be no minerals, we only want to do something if the map at our current row column, so our current scene that we're looking at, dot minerals index 1 soup's favorite not equals nil. And then if it doesn't equal nil, then we want to cycle through each mineral, and we can say, yeah, I hate typing this again. Dot minerals, cycle through our minerals table, and we're just going to update each one with delta time. So if there are any minerals, we're going to just update them all with delta time. So mineral updates. We need to render the minerals too in the map here. So after we render render mineral deposits, and we can say render minerals, render mineral deposits. And then we need to change our mineral deposits here. How do we miss that? Mineral deposits. Uh-oh. We have a minerals deposits somewhere. Oh, before we do that, mineral deposits like that. Let's search for, let's search for minerals deposit, which we do have. Minerals deposits. Okay. Okay, so we should be rendering the mineral deposits now, which are minerals which we haven't tested rendering yet, but once we do, we need to instantiate a mineral, because I don't think we're doing that just yet. We are. We're doing, okay, so yeah, we're putting them in. So we need to flush this upon a scene transition. We'll just test if it works first. So 980 doesn't like us. In our map declarations, 980. It doesn't like mineral deposits without an S. Okay, so there's our mineral. Let's see, collision is still there, so that's good. We have, oh my goodness, we don't pass in delta time to our update mineral, or what? Yeah, delta time's a nil value. Okay, let's check the class itself. We do pass in delta time, so we just need to pass in delta time to the update, which we are not doing. So when we do our mineral update, just make sure we pass in, we are passing in delta time. Okay. I don't know why it doesn't like this. We have delta time. We're in the update. Mineral 15. Okay, so let's just say if we don't update minerals, are you okay? Okay, you're fine with not updating minerals. We aren't? Oh yeah, we are. Okay. Okay, so for whatever reason, our mineral update does not like taking in delta time. Let's just check. We'll leave that on because we need it. But let's walk it through mineral in the update. Okay. I mean, yeah, we're doing this. We're saying... The only thing I could think of is when we do the old mineral deposit. Mineral update. We're cycling through the right table for this. As long as we insert in our map declarations into the minerals table, or yeah, as long as we don't insert into the minerals table. Yeah, we go to the mineral deposits. Okay, so in our scene, actually, oh lordy. Oh. Mineral deposits, yes, and minerals. Okay, so I don't see what's going wrong. It doesn't like to update a mineral deposit. Okay, yeah, we're doing mineral deposit into the mineral deposits. That's working. It's just the mineral it doesn't like. It doesn't like our mineral. It doesn't like getting DT. Well, if we go to our mineral update and we turn this off, it still crashes, right? And player to mineral, this mineral deposits, that should be right. And then let's just see, mineral. Uh-oh, okay. Yeah, it's right here. I mean, it's like, but it doesn't like delta time here for some reason. We're doing that for everything else, you know, like we're saying update delta time, so we know that's possible. And we're doing the same thing. We just cycle through, pass in delta time and update it. What is wrong? It just doesn't like the update. And we call the update once we spawn one. And we spawn one here in mineral. We do require it. The only thing I can think of is like, we don't have a delta time on a mineral deposit. So if we're trying to update mineral deposits, it would crash like this. And mineral deposits used to be named a mineral. So, oh, mineral to spellcast. No, this is right. Yeah, we're trying to just insert a little mineral into our minerals table. If there is a mineral in that table, we're going to update it. Okay, so why are you mad? If we take out this mineral and don't even instantiate it, do we still crash? We don't. So it is just the mineral it's not liking. Yeah, we're cycling through our mineral deposits. If our spell casts with this mineral deposit, yeah, we need to insert into the global minerals table a mineral object. Okay. I don't see what's wrong here. I do not see what's wrong. The only thing I could think of is that we changed the name of the mineral deposits to mineral. So maybe our file names are just jacked up. Let's see. Mineral deposit.lua is mineral deposit. And it takes in an update delta time. Our mineral takes in an update delta time. Okay, so what's wrong, man? Let's try to just insert a mineral without doing this collision and just see if we can just get a mineral in there updating, because I don't think it'll even work for this reason. So map declarations, we're going to say, you know what? Go ahead and table.insert into 411 a mineral. Mineral object. Yeah. It doesn't like it. Doesn't like to update it. What are we missing? We pass in delta time to the update. If we take this line out, it's totally fine. Right? Yeah. Delta time, delta time. Okay, let's go back to mineral collision, mineral update. Okay, we'll add the mineral back in. Well, we just need to get it. We just need to get it on screen and updating without crashing, and then we'll worry about putting it in at the right time. For whatever reason, delta time is crashing it. I am confused. Okay, so if we just put in a mineral into this scene, and our mineral class is defined as not using delta time, we should render it, which I do not see. Well, where the hell are we doing this? We render the mineral right here. Oh, in our render, we have it called update. Son of a... Oh my god. Yeah. Okay, so render doesn't take in delta time. So let's see if we see the mineral now. There's our little mineral. Okay. Jeez, what a silly mistake. Okay. Let's see if we're updating now. We do update the mineral. Great. Okay. We don't have collision with it, but it is updating. Okay. So let's not make the mineral here. Manually, we just instantiate it once we mine the mineral. So when we do we're going to table.insert a mineral into the X. Now this X and Y need to be the offset of the mineral deposit. So we'll say that the X and Y is a 7,3 from the mineral so that we render it in the right spot. So we'll add the 3 and 7 for this. Now we insert a mineral. The mineral updates the mineral render. So now we should only see the extra mineral once we harvest the mineral here, and it should spawn down. Now that was way off. I don't think we actually need this. Nice. Okay, so we need collision for it, and then we need to figure out what movement we like. I'm thinking like a little bounce, or like a... I mean, it could even do like a little rotate, like a little magical float might be cool. Okay. Thanks, Quinch. Yeah. It'll be nice once we get like a little sound for it, you know, like a little like... Yeah, and I'm working... a good friend of mine is doing... He does a lot of audio work and sound design, and he's wanting to take a stab at maybe making some sound effects for the game. So we're going to be meeting next week to talk about that. So hopefully he can come up with some better sound effects than my BFXR. Yeah, I'm thinking exactly that, Squinch. I'm thinking just like a little floaty, like, yeah, literally just a little floaty. Kind of like how Tashio is at the beginning of the game here. When Mage lifts him up, the floatiness, but without the side to side movement. So like he just floats up and down like that. Yeah. And then we still need collision. And then we can remove... Yeah, we need collision, and then we can remove... Yeah. Yeah. So let's do in our map here, let's do collision for minerals. So we update the minerals. We need to cycle through our minerals. So let's, after we update them, let's check if they are colliding with the player. So we have, and we only do this if there are minerals on screen. And we have like a left collides, what is it? Left player collides, map entity sort of deal. Yo, you're going to Brazil, home of Lua? You're going to Lua Central? Yo, so Squinch, we're not going to be launching. I don't think we're going to be launching the demo, but we're not going to be launching the demo April 1st, but we need it kind of, we need like all the major stuff set. So the last things we need to do is like do the builds and then make sure the settings are right for each screen and all that stuff. So we're basically just trying to finish the logic of the demo by April 1st, but we will probably have a couple days after that to actually finalize and release it. So it won't be coming out April 1st, but we want it done by April 1st, and then I'm going to start the process for submitting it to Steam and everything like that. So I don't think the demo will be like officially launched until it's like live up on Steam, which could be who knows how long. It'll be on GitHub before that, but I don't know. But that's cool. That's cool. Brazil, I wish you luck in Brazil. That sounds fun. Hopefully it's for good things. This is what I'm looking for. If, yeah, we want in our map. Oh, see, I feel like this should probably be. Oh, nice. That's awesome. That's cool. You got family out there in Brazil. That's awesome. No wonder you like Lua. Yeah, we want this in the map. I feel like we want to move the mineral deposit collision to the map as well. Where do we do the update here? We do the update. Okay. And then we're going to check that collision with our player and move our player if we do collide. But no, actually we don't move our player. We just need to trigger trigger a sound or whatever and increment our we need to delete the mineral from the table. Yo, thanks, Squinch. Thank you. Yeah, we'll see. Are you going there for like for a couple weeks? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we'll probably launch it in that time frame, but who knows? Yeah, you might miss the streams where we get it submitted to Steam and everything. But the VODs are up on YouTube, so like if you're ever curious about it, everything's up on YouTube. So yeah, but thanks, dude. You're already in the credits for the game, so thanks for all the support, dude. So if we collide in any way with this mineral, then let's delete it from the mineral table, and we don't have... Okay, so if we collide in any way, we want to... We need to increase our mineral count, which we need the value for. But we're also gonna sounds... What is it? Sounds play table. How do we do this? Sounds play sounds at index coin. We can play the coin sound for now for this. Coin pickup. Okay. Sounds at index coin pickup. We're gonna play that sound. Cool. So we're going to play that coin pickup sound, and then we need to table.remove the one we just collided with. So it's going to take in a list, which is our map. This is the list of the minerals, and we give it a position, which is the key. The key from this for loop up here, because that's the index of the mineral we want to remove because we collided with it. So we're going to play the sound like we picked it up, remove it from the table so we stop seeing it. Okay, 451. We got what, too many ends here? Okay, let's see. We've got a mineral. We've got collision for the mineral. We crash here. 408 on our map. 408. Which is right here. It's not our self player. Let's do our global player here. Self.player is actually global player. Okay, so let's see. We're gonna break our mineral. Now it's falling, and if we collide with it, we pick it up and it disappears. Sweet. Now, you know, it's not supposed to be falling, it's supposed to be hovering. But we're just making it fall so that we can see that it's updating. So it's looking like it's working. The collision looks right, and the removal looks right. Sweet. Yeah, I'm hoping my friend can help with some sound design and get us some better sounds than we got. He's also into coding, or he wants to get into programming, so I'm hoping that he can kind of look at the game. Yo, I really just did trick myself. Okay, we've got it mostly done. This is really good. We just need to go to the mineral class. Now we need to do the oscillation here. So I don't think we have any global oscillations here. Let's say we increment our wave. We're gonna say math dot cosine of that wave is gonna be put into the result waver. Okay, and we're not gonna do this, but we're gonna print up what this waiver is so we can see that value. Okay, so we have this value that oscillates between 0 or between 1 and -1. And that's what we want to modify our X position by. So we don't want to just draw it at the waiver because we want the collision to be based on the waiver too. So I think we just need to update our Y position and X position here based on the waiver. So it starts at 0. Then we're going to say that our X gets modified by this waiver. Oh, it's just the Y position. It's just going to kind of float there. And then it's really tiny. We might want to scale this by a little bit more so it's more than a 2 pixel wave, but we'll see what the waiver value is and see how it looks. Yeah, that's a bit much. Yeah, let's not times it by 2 there. We need to scale it way down. That's better, but it's still the whole screen worth. Okay, so let's say, yeah, we're gonna divide this by 10, I don't know. Okay. Better. Should look, I don't know, it should be subtle. I just want it kind of like floating there. We might have to add an X wave as well. Yeah, still too much. I don't know. Should be kind of subtle. I think we do want a little X wave too. You know, ideally the waiver is like going a little bit beneath the hole it used to be and a little bit above. Oh my god, this bat is just a menace. I want to... want to change the offset of how we're rendering it to be a little higher, I think. Well, we can't just change that. That'll change the collision. So we need to update. Yeah, we need to update our Y by either the adjacent offset. I'm going to just subtract 1 pixel. Then we render it. Then we add that offset back in. Let's just see. I want it to be a little bit higher. Because I want it to oscillate. You know, it should go above. It should go above where it comes from. There we go. Okay, that's too much, so. Okay. Yeah, let's add a little bit of a Y wave to it. So let's do, we'll call this waver X. We'll have waver Y. Waver is actually waver X. And then we need to update our X by, we can actually just give it waver X and see, because it's still an oscillating value, but if we don't like it, we can maybe shift. Okay, it does. Okay, we do want to offset it because it's just going diagonal, so let's say this is waver Y. Would that mean if we give it like a 0.5 starting point, it would offset the diagonal and go into circular? No. Oh, we're not even updating waver Y. So we can just give waver Y a sine value from our wave and try that. Ooh, still diagonal. Well, we don't do. Oh, Y. Okay. Self.x gets current x plus waver x. Self.y gets y plus waver y. Let's try that. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, we need a little more offset for the x. We probably need a similar kind of offset. So it circles around where it came from, but also it kind of jumps there. Let's see, maybe we just shrink the wave a bit, because yeah, it kind of comes from, actually yeah, this is good. Oh lordy. Sweet. Let's make sure the collision's looking okay on that. Okay, and then let's make it kind of roll into us, and we'll make sure the collision's looking good. So I won't move, it'll just come into us. Nice. So the collision is updating based on it. So I'm liking that. I think it looks good. It looks a little mystical. Right? I don't think we need a particle system or anything, but it does come, it plops out of its socket there and floats around for you to grab. Cool. So we still need to reset it, right? We need to reset it in a certain instance so that you can get more. we don't increment anything in our inventory that says we've got one of these things. So where is our coin count and where does it belong? I know we have a coin count in our... Huh. Where is our coin count? Do we call it... We have a... what is it called? Pause state? Pause state. Do we have coins? We have a player coin count on our global player. So on our player class, we need like a ruby count, like we've got a coin count. So we can say that we've got a ruby count. In our pause state, we can render the ruby count to 2 decimal places. Just as a placeholder for us to see. We've got rubies 0 here. We won't worry about the placement just yet, because we're going to render our little picture of a ruby here also. So it's not going to say ruby, so we can add that. I mean, why don't we just do it now? Why don't we just do it now? We're going to draw our ruby. We're going to start out at that virtual width minus 48 and see where that looks, and a virtual height of a minus 39. Let's see where that draws our ruby image. We don't render the color. So let's do... Okay, our ruby needs to be scooted over here, probably at the top left of this thing, because we're going to have our other elements as well. So let's move it left, maybe 8. And up maybe 20 more pixels. That didn't look like it moved at all. That was because it was the text and not the picture. So let's try the same deal. 56. 59. Okay, so a little more to the left, little down. Okay, we've got our little ruby on the screen there, and we will put the number next to it here in black. There's our little ruby count. Let's have the same, yeah, we'll have the same exact Y or X position as our coin count. So our coin count here, X is a minus 48. And then we'll get the Y correct, which it looks like it could be scooted up maybe 3 pixels. Let's try 4 pixels. Too high, too high. Okay, ruby count. We've got ruby in the inventory here. So we just need to increment our ruby count. It can go up 1 pixel from here. Okay. So we just need to increment our ruby count. If we collide with a ruby, and then we need to add it to our saves too, so we save the inventory over time. So let's go to mind, and if we collide with a mind, where do we do the remove? Mineral update. If we collide with it, this is ruby pickup. So we need to say, go to our player's inventory ruby count and go ahead and increment it. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay, now I kind of want to just make sure that our save data utility is actually saving our ruby count. We aren't even saving our coin count at the moment. So we need to say, yeah, look at this save data object. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to say our save data table here at coin count. We're going to be storing our global players coin count and also store our ruby count. So we're going to store both of those. We're going to write it to a serialized binary. Then when we do a load player, we need to ask if the key, every key we cycle through, we do a bitzer.load love file from our binary saved player data bin. We load it, we cycle through every table in our save data, and we extract out both the coin count, and we pull that, we assign the global player's coin count to be that value, and then we also, we can do, this should all be in else ifs, so that we don't have to check, because the key's only going to match one of these. So let's say ruby count is also extracted. Now all of these secondary ifs can be else ifs, and all of these ends can be deleted. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Let's see if ruby count advances when we collect it. We have a ruby count of 0. And let's just gather 1. We've got a ruby count of 1, so that's working. Let's grab a coin or two, and we'll see if they save and load correctly. Okay, so we have 2 coins and 1 ruby. So, oh my, just exited the game. Let's do that again. Okay, we got a ruby. We got a coin. And we're going to get another coin. Okay, so we have 1 ruby, 2 coins. Now, let's go outside. We will save our progress at a meditation idol, and we'll quit the game. Then we'll play the game again, and we'll look at our inventory, and we do not have our save data. So this isn't working. Maybe we screwed up the else if. I don't know. It did save the current map, right? Like let's see if it's saved in other stuff. Let's see if we can go over here and save at another meditation idol and see if we save here, then quit the game. When we load, it is screwed up. Let's undo all this else if change. Let's just try to do this and see, because it's almost like we broke our saves. Okay, we're gonna save out here. Actually, we're gonna save on this location. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Okay, we are requiring Bitzer. Okay, because for the mobile deployment, for the web deployment, I had to turn off Bitzer. So I was thinking maybe we screwed that up. When we load the game, actually, loading the game takes us here. Oh, we need to reset our drawables. Shit, man. Okay, so loading the game took us here. Oh, we're not actually loading our game. Hold on a second. Let's try this again. Okay, we've got a ruby. Let's just test that. We've got 1 ruby. We're going to come out here. We're going to meditate and save our game. We're going to quit. Then we're going to actually load our game. So right here, we have, we have no ruby. But if we hit L, we load our game, we've got our ruby. Okay, so we're just not loading our game upon a play state because of our development status. So let's just make sure coins are being saved as well, because we didn't used to have coins in the binary save data. So let's just make sure. Okay, so now if we look at our inventory, we've got 2 coins, no rubies. We're going to save our game. We're going to quit our game. We're going to load our game. We're going to look at our inventory here. We've got no coins, but if we load our game, then we've got our 2 coins back and no rubies. So that looks like it's working. Both rubies and coins are now saving, but we aren't loading our game upon playing because of just development reasons. So we just need to make sure to remember that when you start your game, you're going to load your save data, which right now we are not doing. Okay, well, we've got minerals now in the game. We don't have them respawning. So I guess the idea is let's take all the rubies and put them in the mineral room. You know, we'll just do a couple, maybe 4 or 5. I don't know. We'll put them here and we'll surround some chasms too, just so it's kind of like a little dangerous. I don't know. Because there's like nothing in this room, right? This is just like this is just supposed to be the place where you can mine some minerals. So I should have got the index of that room. Let's see. This is a 412. So when we go to our map declarations here, we're going to insert it into 412. And we don't know where we want to put them just yet, but let's draw out a couple different minerals or a couple different chasms for them to kind of be around. We just want to put some of these in the area. Nothing crazy. You know, it's not supposed to be hard. It's just supposed to be like, it's just supposed to look like it's not just boring. It's not just an empty room. We just want to give it something. Okay. So we've got this little room, and now we can say, you know, now we can place the minerals in certain locations. So if we wanted a mineral here, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. So let's put 4 minerals in here. We can put one over here, kind of in between the little chasms there. So we can say this is a 2, 10, 9, 8, 2, 8. And then one can be right here. And I like it putting it in your way, because if this is blocking you from getting to the doorway, you have to figure out that you have to use your spell cast to harvest the mineral. So this is a great place to put it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6. And we can put one in the bottom corner here too at 2, 7. Cool. So now that we exported this global map, they should appear in game. And we're just going to go to our declarations and make sure we have 4 different mineral deposits. They're all of ruby. They're all on the 412 seen there. And this is a 3, 3, a 2, 8, a 7, 6, and a 2, 7. Okay, let's see if we did that right. So, over in the mineral room, whoa, we messed up 2 of them. I think we just swapped. The 3, 3 is right. Three is right. Let's see where the next one is. We totally jacked that up. So we said it was 7, 6. That was supposed to be the one blocking the path. 7, 6. How is that the 7, 6 one? What the heck? Oh, 2, 8, 2, 8. Okay. Those 2 are right. Those 2 are right. So the next one, let's do 6, 7. I think we just swapped it there. Okay, yeah, that's the right location. Whoa. Why did that happen? What the heck? This is looking nuts. That one's fine. We must be setting... I don't know. This is weird. Okay, you know... I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Well, we swapped. Well, okay, so let's see where this one spawns. This one spawns way up there. Oh, you know what we did? We swapped. I think we just swapped the X and Y. We take in a column and row, and I think this should be row and then column. I don't think that'll change it though. Because this is the mineral deposit, that's right. Other than we did swap this. This should be row column. And then we can swap all of these, right? They should appear in the same place, but I'm curious if... Yeah, that looks right. Okay, so our spawn point for them is just weird. Wow, they look really cool floating like that. Totally wrong spot, though. I like that they're magical because they're used to make the element, or to upgrade the element, so I like that they're kind of magical like that. So let's look at our mineral class, and I think we just swapped our row and column. Let's say that this is Y then X, and see if that solves it. No. What the fuck? Okay, this is just so jacked up. We do give it... I mean, yeah, let's do mineral... What? Mineral... When we spawn a mineral, we spawn it at the X and Y of... This can't be right. What the fuck, man? Pass it the X and Y of the mineral that our spell collided with, and that's what we go to give the minerals here. So I'm kind of curious if we take out all but one of these random rubies, if one mineral's fine, but the second we're doing multiple, that it screws up for some reason. Why? Why does it do that? And they're all off by like weird values. What the hell? We pass in the minerals X and Y, and the minerals from the mineral deposit X and Y. So if we look at our mineral deposit, no. Our X is defined by, yeah, the row that we initialize it at. So unless we broke that, mineral deposit row column, that gives our render position. We must have, I mean, no. If we swap these, it's still busted. Oh. I keep switching the row and column for whatever reason. I just keep switching it. But let's see. See, that screws up that, but does it render where it's supposed to? No. Not at all. What the fuck? Okay. You know what we should do? We should do this a little different. Well, the thing is, the mineral deposit is fine, but we're rendering our X. Yeah, we should switch this so that we should render ourselves not at render X, but at our X. And not at our render Y, but our Y. Okay, and then we're gonna set our, what am I doing? So yeah, that should be our position for the mineral deposit. But then we need to modify it by this 7. No. We don't need this render. Hold on a sec. We don't need this render offset because the mineral deposit renders at the tile location. So why did we do that? The render Y. It's so far off. Well, the mineral deposit isn't wrong. It's the mineral spawned from the X and Y of the mineral deposit. So like the X and Y is correct for the mineral deposit. But for the mineral, when we go to spawn it, well, we're saying the X is the X, the Y is the Y, and we're rendering at our X and Y. So that should be right. It's just that when we actually instantiate the mineral, we give it the X and Y. Yeah, it's for the screen transition. We pass in the minerals X and Y. So why the flip is it spawning over there? Yeah, it's so that the minerals here scroll off right there. So it's really at 2.7 and it's really rendering at 1.2. So like, what? And this wasn't around when we were testing it. So like, where the hell did this come from? Like if we give this a hard-coded value of like tile size times 3, so like 3 tiles over, and let's just do 1 tile down. Does it in fact go to 3 tiles over, 1 tile down? 3 tiles over, 3 tiles down. What the fuck? Okay, we'll have to add this 7 and 3 to the collision for mineral deposits, but that still doesn't that still doesn't answer why they get spawned in such a weird location. Because our mineral deposits, X position, we're just drawing it at its X position. The X and Y is where we init it. No, we need to look in our mineral, not mineral deposit. So yeah, we say X and Y, X and Y. Use the same logic as the coin spawn when you break crates. I think we technically are. Like, it's basically all we do is instantiate a coin into the coins table once we break the crate, and that's what we're doing here. Is we're just inserting a mineral into the minerals table once we break a mineral. So it is kind of the same thing. I just don't get why, like, our X here is a position, not a, like. So I think what's wrong here is the mineral's looking for an X value. Well, this is an X value. Yeah, because this should be mineral deposit. So we should say for mineral deposit, yeah, let's see. Actually, yeah, yeah. See, look, we table.insert into the coins table a coin instantiation, and that's all we're doing with this is we're table.inserting into the. Actually, yeah, this should be mineral. This should be minerals, not mineral deposits. I think that might be it, Scrunch. Shh. As everything breaks. What are you mad at? Table expected, bad argument 1. Table.insert into the list. Bad argument 1. It's called minerals. It's called minerals. It's called minerals right there. You don't like the argument 1 to table.insert on 394? Is that what it is? You don't like it at 387. You don't like this one. How do we screw that up? Okay, let's try this. What the fuck, man? What the... Why? We didn't switch this. We do an X and Y. And it's looking for an X and Y. This is where the mineral deposit is rendering. Let's get... Okay, so a mineral deposit takes in a row and column. That's the only way I could think that this is getting screwed up, is that we don't pass in an X value, we pass in the row and column to insert it, so we don't have to calculate the tile size or whatever. So in our mineral deposit, we're saying the first thing you give it is the row, which isn't right. We want to calculate, we want to give, yeah, we want to switch this. We want to calculate, we want to say go 2 over, so that's the column. So we want to say go 2 over and 2 down. So like column, then row. And when we assign, the X is actually the columns. And the Y is the rows. So now that we're doing that, does it change anything? Because we're spawning... Let's see. But it's not a simple fix. Like, it wasn't going to 7.2 instead of 2.7. Yeah, so it's still jacked up. For whatever reason, that one is only off by a couple pixels. That one's only off by a couple pixels. Oh my god. That one's way off. So these two are way off. The ones, they're kind of off in the same manner. What the fuck? Okay, we're switching some stuff around. Now the mineral deposit row and column that we're assigning are correct because they're in the right location, right? This is, yeah, this is where we wanted them to be when we placed them. So let me just see. I don't know what else to check other than slow things here. Like, let's say instead of the 3-3 one we have, let's have a 2-3 and just make sure that scoots up. The mineral deposit X and Y. Wait, let's see that. So 2-3. It should be 2. Yeah, okay, that is right. So we pass in, yeah, we pass in the X and Y of the tile ID or the tile offset, right? So we give it the column and row. We calculate the actual X and Y position from that row and column. X is how many columns we give, Y is how many rows we give. But then when we instantiate a mineral, we're using the X and Y of the mineral deposit, which is where we're rendering the mineral deposit. So like, I don't get why whenever we spawn a mineral, we say spawn it at the mineral deposit's X and the mineral deposit's Y. So I don't get why they're so far apart. Because if we look at when we spawn the mineral, we say spawn a mineral at the mineral deposit X and Y of the mineral that we're colliding with the spellcast entity. So the mineral deposit X and Y. Just to try, I want to just swap the order of these values. Yeah, we're using the tile index and then we're converting to pixels for the X and Y. See, that's just so far wrong. What the hell? And we collided with that one right away. That one's way off. Why? Why? What the hell is going on? Like, if we were to just say, like, a mineral goes to 0, 0, it should be, now mineral is asking for the X position as the parameters. So we're saying, give me a 0, 0. That's what I thought I was doing, Squinge, is passing in the deposit X and Y. So I'm going to see if it goes to a 0, 0. Okay, it does go to a 0, 0. They're all going over there. So something's just not right with the mineral deposit X and Y, that it's not spawning in the right location, because we're saying the mineral deposit that's in this table. Now, if we look at the mineral deposit X and Y, yeah, we calculate based on the tile ID that we give it, or whatever. So if we give it a 1, 1, meaning first row, first column, top left tile. 1 times tile size is 16 minus tile size is 0. So it should be at the top left origin point. So that should be the right code for it. We're not changing the X position or Y position unless we're shifting. So we're just rendering it at our straight up X and Y. So why is it that when we say mineral deposit X, you're modifying the X and Y of the mineral deposit, then passing in the modified X and Y to the mineral itself? Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's what I thought I was doing, but it's clearly jacked up. Because if I say mineral deposit X and mineral deposit Y, like the same, render a mineral, insert a mineral at the same X and Y of our mineral deposit, go ahead and do that. Then it's all jacked up. What the fuck, man? Now the 3-3, like look at that. The 3-3 is right on. Well, other than the offset that we need to add. Well, the 3-3 is right. You know, like I was thinking that if we just swap the X and Y, it would be fixed, but the two, this one is so weird. You know, because this would be 2-7 on the coordinates, and it's rendering at 2-2 instead of a 2-7. And then this one, that one doesn't even have collision. They just don't even have collision anymore. What the hell's going on? Something. Man, we were like so close to being done. Okay, so we're gonna cycle through the mineral deposits. We're gonna check the object. What is going on? We switched the mineral render. We gotta have screwed something up here. We're still doing this collision, so why is it that none of our collisions here anymore? Yeah, well, not if I give it a... What the hell? What? Oh. Our collision's off. The heck? Our collision is off. Okay, we do need to shift our collision still. So our collision is there. It's just like off just by a little bit. Okay, so our collision is there. Now, if we break this one, goes to this opposite side. If you give it a raw column and row, it works. Well, for the mineral, hold on a sec. Are you modifying the X and Y again? No. So like the mineral deposit, we give the row and column. We convert that into an X and Y to render. So the mineral deposit X and Y is the location that we're actually rendering the image. Why is the... Well, the collision for this one isn't here at all. What is going on? Because I think we changed something. We had this render X and render Y for the mineral deposit so that we can shift. You know, we basically wanted the X position to remain untouched. So we used to have it like this, so that the X and Y, because our collision function takes in a proper X and Y, we needed to shift the X and Y for the proper offset so that we collided only with the small mineral. That's why we're shifting the width and height here too. So then we were saying, okay, well the render X and the render Y is now the original row column offset. So I guess at this point, if we wanted to do this, our collision should be back, but then we should pull from the mineral deposit the render X and render Y for our mineral. Because now we have proper collision back. But when we insert the mineral object, we should give it the render X and the render Y, where we're actually placing the mineral deposit, not the actual mineral deposit's location, which is just so we could reuse that same function. But still jacked up. This is so weird. If you give it a raw column row, it works. Let's try. It should be based on the pixels. So like if we give it a 2-2, it should be two tiles over two, or like it's rendered on the pixels. So this will just be 2 pixels from the top left, 2 pixels down. So it's still in the top left. But 2-2, if it were to work on the rows, should be, you know, 2 tiles down, 2 tiles over, but it's actually just 2 pixels over, 2 pixels down. Same with all of these. So it's like the X we give it is the pixel location. So we're just passing the wrong X and Y here, even though any mineral deposit in the mineral deposit table is being rendered at its own render X, render Y. So it's like the mineral deposit that is colliding with our spell. I don't know. Because even if we give it the mineral deposit render position, it's still jacked up. So like if we give it just the X position, then technically this should spawn at the offset of the thick ruby, which is like, that's kind of what I'm thinking, is the wave is somehow screwing it up. Let's try taking that out. So like, we're gonna go back here at the render Y. Let's just take out the bobbing and see. So no more waving. Let's see. Still jacked up. I mean, let's just map them out. Yo, Adagon Dev, hey, thank you for the raid. Welcome in. Yo, how did your stream go? Yo, welcome in, welcome in. We're just trying to do this last bug fix. Lots of chickens. Is this for the game jam? Nice. Okay, cool. Nice. A website for a game jam. Is it a website in a game or the website for your game for the game jam? We're trying to test this out. This should be mineral deposits all on the same row. Should be the second row, and then columns 2, 3, and 4. So we just want like a little pyramid of mineral deposits here to test, because something's nice. That's cool. See, this is row. This is all column 2. Column 2. This should be. We've got these swapped. mineral deposit should accept a column first, then a row, and the X is going to be rendering based off the column, and the Y based off the row. I flipped it. Dude, I keep flipping them. But because I want here it should be 2 over 2 down, and then 2 over 3 down, 2 over 4 down. So that does look right, because it's like we want, if we want X and Y, yeah, 2 over 3 down, 2 over 4 down. So let's say that there's also, let's do 2, 3, and 4 all on the Y of 2. So all on the second row. Oh shit. Okay, all on the second row. Okay, so that's looking right. Now let's see where the minerals spawn. Way off. Okay, we see a pattern though. We see a pattern. Okay, so it looks like let's give this one 3 down and see. Okay, now where does it spawn? Still at the same... What the hell? Even when we move it, the mineral spawns at the same location. That's what it's looking like. So it's like, does it matter if we say this one's over at like 6, 7? Where does that one spawn? Yeah, it's like a freaking diagonal line, depending on what X. Depending on which row we give it, it just ignores the Y position altogether. So let's make sure our X and Y, I mean, the weird thing is we're rendering it at its, oh well, we are doing this weird shit here. We're doing this weird collision, so it's like, since we don't collide with the entire mineral deposit, we're saying that we're going to render it at the row and column we give, but its actual position is going to be based off... That is so weird. Why do we do this? I mean, we do this so that we didn't have to rewrite the spell collision, so I think we just need to undo this. Oh, jeez, man. Because then we're saying the X of our position, but the X, you know, we're not rendering at the X, we're rendering at the render X, and when we go to make the mineral, we're instantiating the mineral based on the render X and render Y. So it should be where the deposit is being rendered, not where the deposit was spawned. So it's like, it's weird because we give it the same X and Y. We give it the same X and Y that we're rendering our freaking deposits at. So I don't get why they're so jacked up. Oh, wait. We cycle through the spellcast entity count, and this is wrong. We want to check the collision before we... Well... No, if we're mined, we do want to break. If the mineral deposit is mined, yeah, we do want to not check collision. So if it's not mined, we're checking collision with the specific spellcast entity, and if our mineral deposit collides with that spellcast entity, then we're inserting that new mineral at the X and Y of the mineral deposit that we've collided with. What the heck? So let's try to say that, let's just change these values up a bit. So like, let's start at 4.4. I don't get what's happening here. Like my best guess was that render X is changing stuff, but at the end of the day, our deposits are being rendered at that render X. So if we instantiate a mineral with it, it shouldn't get all wonky. So let's just see where these ones spawn and see if it's still in the same locations. So this, God, we can't even reach it. What the hell? What the? I'm very confused. Here, let's enter the top so we can collide on the other side. Okay, let's see where these spawn. What? They're not even like rendering. They're going off screen. Something silly's happening here. Let's just change this. Let's change the mineral deposit. Well, what the hell's happening? I'm just curious why the... Yeah, this has got to be it. It's just so jacked up on this X position. Now, we're not... Okay, let's do this. We'll go back to doing an X and Y position. We'll update the collision function to just do the self.x, because I think the render position is getting screwed up. So we're gonna take our render y and just be self.y. We'll get rid of yeah, that's a good idea, Squinch. Well, I'm gonna nuke that. I'm going to nuke the render Y because I think that's what's screwing us up. So we're just going to say, you know, we need this. These 3 and 7 is the offset for the collision that we need. So I'll just have a comment right here so we don't forget those exact proportions. I won't worry about the collision just yet. We just need to get the spawning working. So we're going to say the X position is derived from the column times tile size we give it. So X is, yeah, over, row is how many down. Then we render at our own mineral deposit position. Now, do we have any render X? We're just going to go to our X and our Y. That's where we're going to insert a mineral on the X position. So let's see where they spawn at this point. What the? Self.self.x. Okay. They're still jacked up. What the fuck? Yeah, let's render the X and Y of every mineral. Because what the hell's happening here? Okay. I mean, we're not changing any of the position for this, so it's like it's not like the mineral deposit is being changed, because the mineral deposit is what turns into the empty mineral spot, and that's at the consistent location. So like the mineral deposit is still in the same location. That's the darker mineral part here. But the actual mineral spawns are getting jacked up. So let's cycle through our minerals, or what we'll do is we'll say, you know, we'll find the one that's all jacked up and not even. Yeah, let's only have the one that we know is rendering wrong, and we'll try to just print its location when it exists and see how bad it's jacked up. Okay, that's the only one that was working. Let's do this one. I really like, this was not on the I should get stuck on list. It should have just worked. Okay, well that one works too. So what the... How come none of them were working until they're soloed? Okay, what the fuck? Whenever we have more than one, then they stop. Or actually, they were just going to the same location. What the hell, dude? So they weren't disappearing, they were going to the same location as one another. So we are table.inserting a new instantiation for each mineral deposit. Yeah, because if we put the wiggle back on them, we can see that they actually didn't disappear and they were actually just wavering. Yeah, see there's multiple ones up there. Yeah, there's all four. They're right there. So they're all spawning to the same location. So we're just like not breaking. They're all going to the same first location for some reason. So what if we spellcast, we take the current mineral deposit and change its... Do we have to break the loop here? Yeah, because if we... Well, let's see. It doesn't explain why they're in the completely wrong position. What the... So it's like the... We pass in the mineral deposit value. So like, yeah. And each one has a different X and Y. because we're rendering them at a different x and y. So we know they're getting different values there. So every mineral deposit object here has a different x and y. So when we say mineral deposit spell collides with a spellcast entity, we're only checking if it's not already mined. If we spellcast collide, we become mined. I don't know. I feel like I just need to rewrite this loop because we're just doing something wrong. We aren't using the I in this loop here. So like that's not, oh yeah, we are for this spellcast entity. I feel like it has to be something like that. Like if we just say, I mean, we only have one spellcast entity right now. Let's just see if it should only happen once. I don't think that's screwing it up though. Why? What the hell, man? It's like their Y position is tethered to what column they're in. It's like the height of them always goes to the same Y position. But we have X and Y here when we insert them. So why is their Y position always going to the same location? Dude, what the? Yeah, because even when we give a different, like let's just say we give it a tile size of a Y here in the mineral. This is like the silliest debugging I've ever done, I feel like. Yo, yeah, it doesn't even matter what Y we give it. It just doesn't care. I may be the stupidest. I may be the stupidest person ever. Self Y gets X. Son of a bitch. Self Y gets X. Self X gets Y. What the? Okay, I mean it's still okay, cause we changed. Okay, let's do this, dude. That I cannot believe how stupid that was. How did we not check that? We just assumed that the X and Y I gave as a parameter was correctly coded. Okay, that's it. Okay. Okay, well, we need to fix... I mean, I guess we could technically undo our change to keep our render X and render Y. I can't believe how stupid that was. That was entirely my bad. Let's go to our mineral deposits and see if we can get back our render X, render Y, so that we don't have to change our collision function. Uh-oh. Yeah, main thing is that it's working, not that we spent 30 minutes looking for a one character bug. Okay, we're gonna check collision here, but also when the mineral spawns. Uh-oh. Wrong positions. Yeah, we want... We give it the X, which is the column, the row, yeah. So then the X is determined by the column. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now do we have them in the right spot? Yes, okay. So there is collision, and the collision does seem to be working for them. That's a close one. You can walk under it. Okay, so now, oops. Now let's see where the minerals pop up the instant we collide with them. Nope. Okay, we just need to... We need to offset... Yo, thanks, Matt Birds. I appreciate that. Yeah, it is 1 year anniversary of me hitting affiliate. I think I streamed... My first stream was February of last year. February, something like that. Okay, so we just need to change the offset by this 3 and 7 when we instantiate the mineral. So it's a 7 on the X, a 3 on the Y. So let's do that. 7 on the X, 3 on the Y, and then the ruby should spawn right above the mineral deposit, right where it appears in the mineral deposit. I mean, yes. I mean, so the thing is, I started streaming daily. That still looks off a bit. I started streaming daily. I've got about almost 590 episodes on my Devlog series, but I didn't live stream it. I just recorded it. So my only goal was to just do what I was doing, but now stream it. So I hit that goal. I'm a little behind where I was hoping in terms of this game's development. But we're doing really good. We're doing really good. It's just like one of those things, like it's been a year of daily development, over a year of daily development, and the demo's not even done yet. So it just, you know, game dev just takes forever. You know, this is the biggest game I've ever attempted to do. The biggest game I've done before this was an arcade game. Okay, we want to do... Why is this off? Because the render X is... Yeah, it should be just the render X, because the render X... Actually, no, we should do... If we put it just at its actual X. Let's see that. Yo, thanks, Matt Birds. Yeah, I mean, I made a game that I'd want to play, right? So it's like Link's Awakening, but with some magic and music. So there's, I don't know if you're into music at all, but there's a big music component. Son of a bitch. There's a big music component. So you can see the art in the back here that my friend Saltamanga did for the game. He's got this lute. So in the game, you can whip out a lute, and if you start playing it, you've got different frets, different strings you can play. So it's like a little mini game to try to, it's like a Lute Hero mini game. So if you're into music and Game Boy stuff, like it's kind of like a little, you know, Lute Hero mini game. So if you're into music, you'd probably like it more. I don't know if you are. Okay, that's looking close. I mean, it still looks... It looks like it pops up a little bit, like... No way, okay. Epic. Ocarinist, that's epic. Yeah, I mean, I love Zelda. That looks right, that looks right. I love Zelda, so I've always loved the music aspect in the Zelda games. You know, because like in Link's Awakening, right? This game is hugely inspired by Link's Awakening. You get to collect all the instruments for the Windfish, right? But you don't get to play the instruments yourself, you know? You get to watch the little cinematic of them playing the music. So I wanted this game to actually be you play the music. So when you get the basically once you beat this dungeon, you pop out on the other side. Oh, we need to add adjacent offset render to our elements or our minerals. So once you get out of this demo, oh, we are giving it. So let's just do mineral render. Once you get out of this dungeon, there's a place where you can unlock the tome. The tome, it's just like sheet music for your loot. So here, if in your inventory you've got different slots for the different sheet music to equip, and different sheet music will do unlock different things in the game. So like there'll be like a little riddle tied with it, and then if you beat the mini game on the certain scene, you'll unlock the next biome or whatever it is, the next dungeon. Yes, we need to pass in the offset here. That should be it. Okay, so we've added our mineral deposits, which look like this. They've got collision, so you can't walk over them, which you can use your magic to bust them open and then collect. We have 0 rubies here. We've got 1 ruby now. And then we already tested the saving, and we are saving them to our save system when we load another game. The collision looked a little off on that one, but let's make sure the adjacent offset rendering is working. So when there's a ruby there, if you go off and come back on, now the ruby appears even during a screen transition. And let's see if the collision is looking right. If we just wait here. Oh, see, look at that. It doesn't look like it's... That should be the collision detection for it. So if it touches us... Okay, so it did... It just looked off on the Y position, I guess. So when we do mineral to layer collision, I think we call it mineral pickup. Ruby pickup. Bottom collides. No, yeah, we're just saying bottom collides with the map object. Okay. So yeah, if we want the collision to be a little closer, we'd have to modify the bottom. We gave like a 1 pixel buffer so that it was nicer on the chasm falls, so that you didn't... Basically, like there's this mechanic here where you like push a boulder, and if there's a hole underneath it, you can accidentally fall into this hole. Even like you used to be able to fall even if your toe was like right... Oh god. If your toe was like right there, it was still triggering a fall. So we shifted the bottom collision for that, so that it had some leeway. So that's why it didn't detect a collision on here. I guess what we could do is we could modify... We could make it a bit bigger on the X and Y width and right front width and height front, and then just change the render so that it has a little bit of a bigger hitbox. So we could do this and say, well, our mineral itself is going to be initialized a little bit higher so that we can give it a thicker hitbox. And then now it could detect well, shit. Yeah, because ideally that would have triggered a collision for it. Yeah, it's not about... Yeah, it's like we need it to be... We need to render it a little higher. Well, we keep... Yeah, we're supposed to shift it upwards, but then keep the render unchanged. So if we say the X is actually going to be, yeah, a little bit to the left and up, but we need to render us at, gosh, man, I don't know. We just need to say that when we render it, we undo that X and Y position. So we add the +2 here before we render. I don't know if this is right at all. This feels so wrong to me. But then we have to unmove it. This is so bad. This is so bad. I'm just curious if this fixes it. Yeah, it'll still jump. It'll look like it jumps when we collide it here. Yeah, but then let's see if the bottom collision's better. No, it is not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not happy with that. It's because the collision on our character is shifted up, so we have to either write a slightly different bottom collision detection for the mineral, or we just get over it. So maybe we'll do it. But I've been at it for a while now, so I think I'm gonna call it here. Let us commit saying that we added mineral deposits and rubies. And we'll get push and call it a night. Thanks for the raid, Adagon, if you're still here. I appreciate it. Thanks, Matt Bird, for telling me about your music stuff. The demo is supposed to be done by April 1st, so we just finished our first dungeon. So I'm hoping we still stay on track and finish this demo by April 1st. So that's the goal. But we'll run credits here, and we'll find someone to raid and pass off the raid train to. Let's see, we've got Jitspo, Blockboy, B. You know what? We like Jed over here. We'll raid out to Jed. Yo, thanks for hanging, Squinch. Yeah, that's totally cool. Thanks for the heads up. I'll be here when you get back for sure. Thanks for hanging all day, Skytech. That was nice. Thanks for hanging, man. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, we'll raid out here to Jed because he's always doing some good game dev stuff. And I'll be here tomorrow. We'll try to get some more. We'll try to get some more stuff done on the road to the demo. We've got 2 weeks left. So catch you later.